Chakandamandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Agyanati Mirandasya Jnana Jnana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara Gurur Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Stavaram Jangamam Vyaktam Yat Kichit Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Babaji Vyapi Yat Sarvam Trilokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sarvashruti Shiroratna Virajita Padambujaha Vedantambuja Suryoya Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Chaitanya Shashvata Shanto Vyomatito Niranjanaha Bindunada Kalatita Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Jnana Shakti Samaruda Tattvamala Vibhushitaha Bhukti Mukti Pradata Cha Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Aneka Janma Samprapta Karma Bandha Vidahine Atma Jnana Pradhanena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shoshanam Bhava Sindhoscha Jnapanam Sarasampadaha Guru Padodakam Samyak Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Na Guru Radhikam Tattvam Na Guru Radhikam Tapaha Tattva Jnanat Param Nasti Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Manata Shri Jagannatha Madguru Shri Jagadguru Mahatma Sarva Bhutatma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Guru Radhiranadischa Guru Paramadevatam Guru Parataram Nasti Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mameva Mata Chapita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva
Swami Vishwananda Kripa Sindhunatha
Swami Vishwananda Kripa Sindhunatha
Swami Vishwananda Kripa Sindhunatha
Swami Vishwananda Kripa Sindhunatha
Arasato Appani Kripa Appani Kripa Appani Kripa
Barasado Apani Kripa Apani Kripa Apani Kripa
Swami Vishwananda Kripa Sindhunatha
Swami Vishwananda Kripa Sindhunatha
Swami Vishwananda Kripa Sindhunatha
Swami Vishwananda Kripa Sindhunatha
Parasato Appani Kripa Appani Kripa Appani Kripa
Barasado Apani Kripa Apani Kripa Apani Kripa
Swami Vishwananda Kripa Sindhunatha
Swami Vishwananda Kripa Sindhunatha
Swami Vishwananda Kripa Sindhunatha
Swami Vishwananda Kripa Sindhunatha
Parasado Appani Kripa Appani Kripa Appani Kripa
Parasado Appani Kripa Appani Kripa Appani Kripa
Swami Vishwananda Premavatara
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 Parasato Appani Prem Appani Prem Appani Prem
Parasado Appani Prem Appani Prem Appani Prem
Swami Vishwananda Shakti Pradayaka
Swami Vishwananda Shakti Pradayaka
Swami Vishwananda Shakti Pradayaka
Swami Vishwananda Shakti Pradayaka
Parasato Appani Shakti Appani Shakti Appani Shakti
Parasado Appani Shakti Appani Shakti Appani Shakti
Swami Vishwananda Shanti Pradayaka
Swami Vishwananda Shakti Pradayaka
Swami Vishwananda Shanti Pradayaka
Swami Vishwananda Shakti Pradayaka
Swami Vishwananda Shanti Pradayaka
Swami Vishwananda Shakti Pradayaka
Parasato Appani Shanti Appani Shanti Appani Shanti
Parasado Appani Shakti Appani Shakti Appani Shakti
Swami Vishwananda Kripa Sindhunatha
Swami Vishwananda Kripa Sindhunatha
Swami Vishwananda Kripa Sindhunatha
Swami Vishwananda Kripa Sindhunatha
Parasato Appani Kripa Appani Kripa Appani Kripa
Parasado Appani Kripa Appani Kripa Appani Kripa
Swami Vishwananda Premavatara
Swami Vishwananda Premavatara
Swami Vishwananda Premavatara
Swami Vishwananda Premavatara
Parasato Appani Prema Appani Prema Appani Prema
Parasado Appani Prem Appani Prem Appani Prem
Swami Vishwananda Shakti Pradayaka
Swami Vishwananda Shakti Pradayaka
Swami Vishwananda Shakti Pradayaka
Swami Vishwananda Shakti Pradayaka
Parasato Appani Shakti Appani Shakti Appani Shakti
Om Avata Shishaya Namaha Om Vishamaya Namaha Om Devakaya Samudyataya Namaha Om Sukshmatanave Namaha Om Chinmayaya Namaha Om Gurumurtaye Namaha Om Sundaraya Namaha Om Surochanaya Namaha Om Sumukhaya Namaha Om Charuhasaya Namaha Om Keshavaya Namaha Om Padmabhujaya Namaha Om Mandagamanaya Namaha Om Charumbaradharine Namaha Om Ramaya Namaha Om Mandirasthapakaya Namaha Om Shri Bhutabhrteshwarnath Namaha Om Gayatri Ajvane Namaha Om Arpana Svikarakaya Namaha Om Vishnu Pujakaya Namaha Om Namo Narayana Mantra Pasakaya Namaha Om Swaramayaya Namaha Om Madhurakantaya Namaha Om Krishna Sankirtana Lolopaya Namaha Om Stotra Priyaya Namaha, Om Mitabashine Namaha, Om Varmine Namaha, Om Chitrakala Visharadaya Namaha, Om Vratadharaya Namaha, Om Sadave Namaha, Om Jagarpantaya Namaha, Om Sarvalokahitaya Namaha, Om Bhakta Priyaya Namaha, Om Surdaya Namaha, Om Manukulaya Namaha, Om Neyaya Namaha, Om Sudarshanaya Namaha, Om Bhaktavatsalaya Namaha, Om Premamurtaye Namaha, Om Shubhekshanaya Namaha, Om Pritivardhanaya Namaha, Om Swastidayakaya Namaha, Om Tarakaya Namaha, Om Anugrahaya Namaha, Om Vardhanaya Namaha, Om Architaya Namaha, Om Sarthaya Namaha, Om Siddhipradaya Namaha, Om Janardhanaya Namaha, Om Manoharaya Namaha, Om Mahakshaya Namaha, Om Siddheshwaraya Namaha, Om Bhasmabhushitaya Namaha, Om Atmalingaya Namaha, Om Lingakshana Protsakaya Namaha, Om Siddhi Sadanaya Namaha, Om Madhavaya Namaha, Om Amkarapasakaya Namaha, Om Sukshmaya Namaha, Om Vishokaya Namaha, Om Satvikaya Namaha, Om Samadarshine Namaha, Om Dakshaya Namaha, Om Achintyaya Namaha, Om Niramkaraya Namaha, Om Nirmohaya Namaha, Om Avyagraya Namaha, Om Jitakrodaya Namaha, Om Vinayashilaya Namaha, Om Svavashaya Namaha, Om Kushalaya Namaha, Om Shamaya Namaha, Om Satyadharmaya Namaha, Om Nirvikalpaya Namaha, Om Niraktaya Namaha, Om Atindraya Namaha, Om Satyasandaya Namaha, Om Pavitraya Namaha, Om Madhurasvabhavaya Namaha, Om Suranandaya Namaha, Om Nandanaya Namaha, Om Prasatmane Namaha, Om Bhaktanidhaye Namaha, Om Sakshaye Namaha, Om Samatmaye Namaha, Om Sadayogine Namaha, Om Haraye Namaha, Om Sutapaya Namaha, Om Samyaya Namaha, Om Guriyaya Namaha, Om Vimuktatmaya Namaha, Om Gabiraya Namaha, Om Guptaya Namaha, Om Atmaramaya Namaha, Om Srinivasaya Namaha, Om Devaya Namaha, Om Yudhidharaya Namaha, Om Dhanyaya Namaha, Om Gurave Namaha, Om Duratikramaya Namaha, Om Gahanaya Namaha, Om Bhagavate Namaha, Om Harisharnamargarashakaya Namaha, Om Kutastajagartakaya Namaha, Om Abhiprayaya Namaha, Om Sarvamata Samatyaya Namaha, Om Shamaikata Bhavardakaya Namaha, Om Premavatara Sri Vishwananda Swami Namaha. Ato Deva Avanturo Yato Vishnur Vichakrame Pritivya Sapta Dhamabhi Idam Vishnur Vichakrame Tredhani Yate Padam Samo Damasya Bhargum Sure Trini Pada Vichakrame Vishnur Gopa Ada Abhyaha Tato Dharmani Dharyene Vishnu Karmani Pashyata Yato Yatani Pashpashe Indrasya Yujasakaha Tat Vishno Paramam Padagum Sada Pashyanti Suryaha Diveva Chakshuratatam Tad Vipraso Vipanyavo Jagravagum Sasamindhate Vishnu Yat Paramam Padam. Premavataraaya vidmahe Sadgurudevaya dhimahi Tanno Vishwananda prachodayat. Om Premavataraaya vidmahe Sadgurudevaya dhimahi Tanno Vishwananda prachodayat. Om Premavataraaya vidmahe Sadgurudevaya dhimahi Tanno Vishwananda prachodayat.
Govinda. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarva Karyeshu Sarvada Sarva Karyeshu Sarvada. Om Bhurabhuva Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Yo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Bhurabhuva Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Yo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Bhurabhuva Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Yo Yo Na Prachodayat.
Shri Krishna Vishnu Madhusudana Keitavale Narayana Achyuta Trivikrama Chakrapale Devyadi Sarshadara Shridhara Vasudeva Gopala Krishna Haraye Tava Suprabhatam Shri Rukminesha Bhavanasha Hare Murare Radesha Gopisha Swarupa Brahmani Vandya Shri Dvarakashaya Vaikuntha Pate Bhuvaneka Murte Gopala Deva Haraye Tava Suprabhatam Meenakrite Kamadarupa Varaha Murte Ve Vikramaya Bhuvane Rama Rama Shri Rama Krishna Yadunandana Kalki Rupa Gopala Krishna Haraye Tava Suprabhatam Govinda Madhava Mukunda Parat Paresha Damodarabjadarananda Kadari Shori Gopa Gopi Jana Samrita Dina Bando Gopi Jana Priya Hare Tava Suprabhatam Shirati Shai Bhujagadi Patalpa Shai Sarpaktaripsanada Shai Ramanga Shai Shri Gopa Vama Mrudutalpa Sukadi Shai Gopa Vallabha Hare Tava Suprabhatam Shri Kashyapatri Sukhanarada Gautamadi Brahmarshi Sangamani Sangava Paratesho Tishranti Deva Tava Darshana Bhagya Heto Gopala Shekhara Hare Tava Suprabhatam Mandara Jari Tulasi Lalamalya Kadyahe Malyani Anjali Kutir Samudaharanti Ishtanti Bhattvavadadara Tale Munindraha Radha Manohara Hare Tava Suprabhatam Veda Prayam Patati Gautama Kana Guyaha Gayanti Satguna Gano Varadasa Vargaha Sankirtayanti Tava Nama Kada Visheshaha Shri Naradani Vishaya Tava Suprabhatam Govardhano Dharana Gopa Kishora Gopa Gopi Janamrita Subesha Bhavadi Pota Trilokya Mohana Sumangala Divya Deha Shri Rukminesha Varada Tava Suprabhatam Shri Vatsachina Sharanagata Parijata Bhaktarti Vanjana Kripakara Dina Bando Dityanta Gayati Janapriya Divya Rupa Shri Nanda Gopatanaya Tava Suprabhatam Padmaksha Padma Mukha Padmadhara Prameya Padmalaya Sarita Palma Nivasa Shori Padmodbhavati Sura Sevita Pada Padma Padmachinata Haraye Tava Suprabhatam Vrindata Devi Haranaya Mahendra Vandya Kandarpadarpa Haratinya Sudesha Rupa Chandrananaya Siddha Chandana Lipna Deha Govinda Yadava Hare तव सुप्रभातं श्रीनन्दनन्दन यशोदकुमारधीरा मायङ्गदीनदविशोन सुपुष्पहारा नीलम्बुदाशुशरीररमाविहारा गोपालदेव हरये तव सुप्रभातं श्रीवश्रिजन्मवति सत्यसुगन्धिभद्रा श्रीमित्रविन्ददिवसा प्रभुपुत्रिकार्यहे तिष्ठन्ति दीर्घभवमेकव सेवनार्दम् गोपीमनाप्रियहरे तव सुप्रभातं श्रीकृष्ण अच्युतानन्द मुकुन्द शौरी राधा मनोहर जनार्दन चक्रपाणे नामानि दिव्यमुनयोर्ननिशं वदन्ति ग्रामे मुहूर्तसमये तव सुप्रभातम् श्रीकृष्ण सुप्रभातं ये पतन्ति अहर्निशं पूरीकृतान् महापापान् श्रीकृष्णाग्राहे
ईश्वर परम कृष्ण सच्चिदानंद विग्रह अनादिरदिर् गोविन्द सर्वकरणकारणं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि चिन्तामणि प्रकरसत्मसुकल्पवृक्ष लक्षावृतेषु सुरवीरविपालयन्तं लक्ष्मीसहस्रशतसम्भ्रमसेव्यमानं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि
गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि वेणुं त्वनन्तमरविन्ददलाय दर्शन् पारावतं समसितं बुधसुन्दरङ्गम् कन्दर्पकोटिकमनीयविशेषशोभं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि
अल्लोलचन्द्रकलसद्वनमालिवंशी तन्नङ्गरं प्रणयकीलिकलाविलासं श्यामङ्गिमङ्गललितं नियतप्रकाशम् गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि
गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि अङ्गानि यस्य सकलेन्द्रियवृत्तिमन्ति पश्यन्ति पन्ति कलयन्ति चिरं जगन्ति आनन्दचिन्मय सदुज्ज्वलविग्रहस्य गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि
अद्वैतमाच्युतमनादिमनन्तरूपम् आद्यं पुराणपुरुषं नवयौवनं च वेदेषु दुर्लभमदुर्लभमात्मभक्त गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि
गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि अन्तर्दुःखोदिशतवत्सरसम्प्रगम्यो वायोरथापि मनसो मुनिपुङ्गवानं सोऽप्यस्ति यत्प्रपदसिन्यविचिन्त्य तत्त्वे गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि
एकयोप्यसौरचयितुं जगदम्बकोटिं यशक्तिरस्ति जगदम्बजयरान्तः अनन्तरस्तपरमान्युचयन्तरस्तं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि
गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यद्भावभावितधियो मनुजस्तथैव सम्प्राप्य रूपमहिमासनयानभूषः सुखेयमेव निगमा प्रतिते स्तुवन्ति गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami.
Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitavi Savirya eva Nisharupataya Kalavihi Goloka eva Nivasatyatilatma Bhuto Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami.
Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami. Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena Santa sadeva hridayeshu vilokayanti Yam shama sundaram achintya guna swarupam Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami. Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami.
Ramadimurti shukale niyamena dishtam Avatar Makarat Bhuvaneshu Kinto Krishna Svayam Samabhavat Paramapumanya Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami.
Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami. Yasya prabha prabhavato jagadanta koti Kodishvashesha vasudhadi vibhuti vina Tatramanishkalamanantamashesha bhutam Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami. Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami.
Maya hi yasya jagadam dashatani sute Pregunata vishaya veda vitayamana Sattva-valam pavar sattva-vishuddha sattvam Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami.
Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami. Ananda chinmaya rasatmataya manasu Yapraninam pratipalam smaratam yupetya Leela-ritena bhuvanani jaya jajasram Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami. Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami.
Golokanam ninichatam nitale chatasya Devi Mahesha Harida Mashuteshu Teshu Tete Prabhava Nichaya Vichachaschayena Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami.
Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami. Shristi Shriti Pralaya Sadhana Shakti Rekha Chaye Vayasya Bhuvanani Vibharti Durga Ichhanurupamapi Yasya Chasheshtate Sa Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami. Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami.
Kshiram yatata divikara vishesha yoga Samchayate hi hitagati heto Yajambutam apitata samupaitya karya Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami.
Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami. Ekachireva hidashantaramabhyupetya Epayate vivrita hetu samana dharma Yastadireva icha vishnutaya vibhati Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami. Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami.
Yakaranamana-chale pachatisma-yoga Hilamananda jagadanda saromakupaha Padara-shakti-mavalamya paratsvamurtim Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami.
Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami. Yasyeka nishvasita kalamathavalamya Jivanti loma vilaja jagadandanataha Vishnur mahansaila yasya kala vishesho Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami. Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami.
Tasvanyatashma sakaleshu nijeshu techaha Iyam kiya prakatyata patitatvadatra Brahmaya esha jagadanda virana karta Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami.
Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yatpada Pallavayugam Vididaya Kumbha Tandre Pranama Samaye Sagadadi Raja Dignam Vihantu Malanasya Jagatrayasya Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami
Agir Mahiga Ganamam Umarutti Shastra Kalastadatma Manasiti Jagatrayani Yasmat Bhavanti Vivavanti Vishanti Amcha Govindamati Purusham Tamaham Bhajami
Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yachakshuresha Savita Sakala Grahana Raja Samasta Suramurti Rashesha Tesa Yasyarnaya Brahmati Sambrita Kala Chakro Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami
Dharmodha Papa Nichaya Shutayastabamsi Ramadi Kintu Pataga Vadayascha Jivaha Yadgada Matra Vibhava Prakata Prabhava Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami
Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yastindra Gopa Matavindra Mahosha Karma Bandhana Rupa Palavachamanatanoti Karmani Nirdahati Kintu Cha Bhakti Bhaja Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yankroda Kama Sahaja Pranayadi Viti Vatsalya Moha Guru Gaurava Sevya Bhavane Sanchityatasya Sadishintanura Purete Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami
Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami
Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami
Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachitananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami.
Ajnanaatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Gurudev, good morning. So today we will read the verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 82, verse 39. Gopyascha Krishnam utpalabhya chiratabishtam yad prekshane drishtu pakshma krishatam shapanti dribhir hrudi kritamalam parirabhya sarvas tad bhavamapurapi nitya yujam durupam. So sage Sukadev says, while gazing upon their beloved Krishna, the young gopis used to denounce their creator of their eyelids, which would temporarily block their vision of him. Now seeing Krishna again after such an extended separation, with their eyes they look him into their hearts, and there they embrace him to their full contentment. In this way, they became completely absorbed in ecstatic meditation on him, even though those who constantly practice mystic yoga find such absorption difficult to achieve. So this is so beautiful, and here you see the gopis said that they would denounced the creator for their eyelids, which would temporarily block, so we are blinking. They were so much in pain not to see their Krishna after the separation that they was rejoicing that gathering that will come. So the story is like this. There was a great gathering in Kurukshetra on occasion of sun eclipse. And Krishna, all his wife, and Yadavas, Pandavas and Kauravas, including Pandavas and Kauravas, all sages, chiefs of many villages, the Gopi and Gopas, and also Yashoda, Nanda, Vasudeva and Devaki, they are all was gathering in Kurukshetra. And this was a third time when Krishna was coming to Kurukshetra. So the first one was when he was a young boy, and it was the ceremony of shaving his hairs. That traditionally in India the boys they shave the hairs and offer it this called Mundan ceremony. So this was in Kurukshetra, and Krishna and also Gopas, they shave their hair and they offer this hair into the well. And then afterwards, it was considered in Hindu tradition that in this well, this place, particular place, fell one of the 52 Shaktipits. And in India, it's very holy place. There was built the Bhadrakali temple. So this was the first time then Krishna visited Kurukshetra. The second time was during the Kurukshetra war. Then Krishna gave Gita to Arjuna. And the third time, it was on occasion of sun eclipse. So, continue with the story of gathering. So, the gopis didn't see Krishna for so long that they were so much excited that he was coming, and they was thinking like, now he's a prince, now he is growing up, and we are not anymore these girls that running around. Now we are serious, we matured, and we will not run after him. And he's a cheater because he left us. And so they was thinking like this, waiting for him. And it was not anymore this little Krishna. And at the same time, Yashoda also was feeling deep, deep joy to meet again the little Krishna. Because in her heart, it's always little Krishna. And in the meantime, she told Devaki and many stories about each demon that Krishna killed. And so they were so excited to see Krishna and his 16,008 wives. And finally, when Krishna arrived, the people from Dwaraka saw him, and when gopis and gopas saw him, they was so much excited that they forgot everything what they think before, and they start to run toward him. And then Krishna saw how they ran, and he smiled to himself, and he, with his Yoga Maya, he covered his Krishna, Dwaraka Krishna and Gita Krishna, and he manifests the form of Bala Krishna for them, because that's how they love him in their hearts. And so the Krishna so much melted to see their love. And there was also the wives of Krishna, the 16,008 wives. They was so amazed about love of gopis, and then they start to share the stories. Each gopi has its own story. They told to the wives, and the wives of Krishna said, "It's amazing, this love, that you love him." They said, "My Lord, I am eternally in your consort, but these gopis are so supreme, they even much more dear to," they say this to Krishna, "to you than us." And then they said, "We married Krishna. How lucky we are. These gopis, they have not married the Lord, yet they love him so much, and they live for him. Yet when we take him for granted." And then they say also, "Wow, we have married him only externally, but you, gopis, have him internally seated inside your heart. Your soul has married him." And so during the Kurukshetra event, when they gathered, there was like this, spending 1 month sharing the stories and experience the Krishna, Bala Krishna, how he was in a childhood. And also Devaki heard the story about Krishna, how he was when he was a young boy. But what is amazing in these stories is this difference when the queen, they said that they married him only externally, and the gopis, they married him in their hearts. And this is very much true. Mirabai said, "I was looking for you in every temple, but I found you in my heart." So sometimes when we see Guruji so often, and especially those who are close to him, it might happen that they take him for granted. But those who are far from him, like was Gopi from Krishna, and they truly found him in their hearts, then they are married to him, their soul married to him in the heart. And once I had some private conversation with Guruji long ago, some many years ago, and he told me this was the meaning of it: don't believe what you see, because sometimes the nearest to me can be the farthest, and the farthest, they are the nearest. And this was very deep for me, this statement. It means the farthest is the closest, and the closest is the farthest. And he said, one of my best, dearest disciple, I saw her only once. So it doesn't mean when we are close to him that we are really close to him, because what's most important, it's what we feel in our heart. And this was example how we should love, the greatest example of the gopis. And so we know how Gopi loved Krishna. Also, last night when Guruji gave a satsang, he told the story when Narada Muni came to Gopi, which was meditated, and he said, "Why are you meditating? You should be in bhakti. Why?" And she said, "I try to forget him." I said, "How you try to forget him? Why you try to forget him? You are so blessed that you have him." And she said, "Because wherever I am, I see him and I think about him." For example, yesterday I was milking the cow and I saw him. He was behind my back, and then the saw with the milk fall, and the milk was lost. And it was the same as when he was a child and he broke the pots. Then she said, I was cooking and I hear he was saying something behind me, and I fainted, and then everything I cook was also fall. And so he said, everywhere where I'm continuously thinking of him and his presence. So that's why, how can I live like that? And that's how gopis love. And so there is another beautiful story. So now we know how gopi love Krishna, but how Krishna love his devotees, how Krishna love gopis, particularly gopis, of course. So this story, when Narada Muni appeared before King Indradyumna, and he wanted to say about this, how much longing Krishna for his gopis. So it was already also in Dwarka, when Krishna had his 16,008 wives. So these wives gathered together and they wanted secretly discuss gopis, how gopis love Krishna and why they're so special for him. And so they didn't want that anyone hear this. And they asked the sister of Krishna, Subhadra, to sit at the door and don't let anyone come, and especially Krishna, Balaram. They didn't want that he hear the discussion of queens. So they were seated there, and they started to discuss about gopis, what was so special for them, and how they love Krishna. And Subhadra, while she was sitting at the door, so she started to hear, and she was so absorbed in the story that she forgot to watch the doors. And first the Balarama came, and he started to listen what the queens were saying about gopis. And then after him, Krishna came, and he also started to listen the stories that queens was telling about the gopis. And while Krishna was listening the stories, he was so much in ecstasy. His hair stood up, and his hand and feet entered in his body, and his eyes rounded and enlarged in size. And that's how appeared the form of Jagannath. So he became this Jagannath that we know, the beautiful face of the Murti Shri Vittal Giridhari Parabrahmane. And so he was at the door, and Subhadra, his sister, and Balarama saw Krishna in this form, and they also was in ecstasy. And then, so they exchanged in between these emotions. And Balarama and Subhadra also start to become like a Jagannath. So Baladeva is Subhadra, Subhadra, Jagannath, Baladeva is Subhadra, they're all together. That's how their form appear. One of the stories, of course, because there are another stories. And this is now a little bit about this form of Jagannath, that considered the highest adop where reside the Murti of Krishna. This form was given by the Lord himself, and it considered that it's the gateway to the adop of a Supreme Lord that will be open for those who meditate on the form of Jagannath. And this form also grants the moksha and liberation to all living entities. So we come back to Gopas and Krishna, to this Leela that Krishna played with gopis. So we was talking about the separation, yes, how gopi experienced the separation. And of course the most known, the most famous story, it's Rasa Leela. So when each gopi believed that Krishna danced exclusively for her in Rasa Leela. But one night when Krishna danced the Rasa Leela, suddenly he disappeared. He disappeared, and the gopis was in a state of deep longing. They was looking everywhere for him. Their heart was in pain, and they was desperate. And so this, what does this symbolize? Why Krishna disappeared? Because he want to raise this yearning and this longing for him. Because in this depth of love in separation, only then Krishna can deepen their spiritual connection. And it was a kind of test also, test of love and devotion for them. Because instead of this separation, the gopis continue to have this unwavering love for him. And this always will remain a timeless example of devotion and surrender. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verse 22, it said, "To those men who worship me, making me alone the whole object of their thoughts, to those constantly in yoga with me, I take charge of their prosperity and welfare." So this verse of Bhagavad Gita highlights the idea of maintaining this unwavering devotion and meditate on Krishna, always with love, and even if we're physically separated, and even more, because we should believe in our heart that he's with us. Like Mirabai said, I was looking for him in every temple, but I found him in my heart. So, what the saints say about the separation, how do they experience this separation, and which example do they give to us? Saint Surdas, that was a blind saint from 15th century, said, "Without the sight of your beautiful form, O Krishna, my eyes are in darkness. The pain of separation from you is like a burning fire within me. I am a beggar at your door, O Lord. My only wealth is my love for you. The pain of separation from your divine presence is my constant companion." So you see, even if they love God, because they was always connect with him, this separation was a constant companion. The Tulsidas said, "Without devotion, my Lord, I'm nothing. Your name is my refuge, and my soul longs for your divine presence. In the agony of separation, I find solace only in chanting your name." He found refuge only in chanting your name. "And without the name of Brahma, my body is like a cremation ground. My life force is like a messenger of death, and my tongue is like a serpent. I'm constantly tormented by the pain of separation from the Lord." So he said here to Siddhas that his only refuge is the divine name. And that's why we have japa, because when we truly deeply feel this longing, our only medicine is his divine name. Saint Tukaram said, "O Vittala, my heart aches for your divine presence. I'm like a fish out of water, suffocating in the agony of separation from you. My devotion to you, Panduranga, is the essence of my life. In the darkness of this world, your divine love is my guiding light. The pain of separation from you is my journey, is my spiritual journey." So separation, it's not something from outside, it's in the heart, and it's a big part of our spiritual journey. Yesterday, Guruji gave us the message in a tweet, in a beautiful tweet, when he talked about Guru. And I found the parallel in what this separation, this love between gopis and Krishna, and what Guruji wrote about the Guru. So he wrote, this fire of all-consuming love for the Guru, it is himself, that he gives the blessing as a gift. And this is eternal relationship between himself and his disciple. And for each one, this fire is unique. The same as when Krishna did his Rasa Lila with Gopi, he manifests himself for each Gopi. And here Guruji said that this fire is unique for each one. And pain and joy and ups and downs all dissolve in this fire of love. When it arises, the self stops existing, and only the beloved exists evermore, everywhere, at every moment. You see, it's really what the Gopi feel for Krishna. All becomes a play in his hands, a play of love, a play of joy, a play of humility. The beloved and a little soul, like a Gopi and Krishna also, come together and separate to continue this play of love. It is a tireless joy, an infinite earning, a constant receiving. So even if we think that we are separated from him, there's still this constant receiving. And then he continues, the fire of love for the feet of the Guru, the most beautiful laser point fire of the world. Glories to the Guru, he is a bestower of love. You know, there was not only the Rasa Lila, how we know it, the Gopi and Krishna, but there is also a story about Rasa Purnima. So Rasa Purnima, then Lord Krishna decided to perform the Rasa Lila, and he was dancing with Gopi, but he extended himself because the queens, they was discussed about this love to Gopis, and they also want to experience it. So Krishna extended himself also to Queen, and included Rukmini. And he performed the Rasa Lila also with them in Dwaraka. So everything is possible by his grace. And he's always present when we feel. I had this experience also when it's always by his grace. Sometimes, Guruji said when he appeared in our dreams, it's truly him. And sometimes it's happened when he appears, he brings some experiences with divine entities. And there was once I had experience of Vitala. And when I woke up, this pain was so unsupportable that I couldn't breathe. And every millisecond of existence without him was paining so much. And it was how you take the normal word of suffering and you multiply it by thousands. And so that's why I grab in the morning when I woke up, I just grab my japa mala and try not even to breathe in between. I was reading the mantra Vitala, 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 and I was wondering always to experience when we always see then Guruji walk with japa mala and he said Vitala, Vitala, Vitala. How does it feel? And this morning I grabbed it because it was not possible to breathe. It was so painful that with his name, it was the only refuge. So all the morning I was with Vitala, Vitala, Vitala. But this longing of separation is truly, really so painful. There was another story of Ramakrishna when he was rolling on the floor and he was crying and praising Ma to do something with it, because when someone is feeling it, it's really unsupportable. And then we need to have this faith that whatever we say, and even more when we are separate, because you see from the stories, those queens that was close to Krishna, they say, and we take him for granted. But those who are separated with him, they're so much connected in the heart that they have this faith, and it's truly happened with wherever we think and we pray that He is always with us. And there is another beautiful story of Surdas, when that he had a physical blindness, and it was during the time when Krishna was in Dwarka, and there was supposed to be the big festival for the occasion of the marriage, a wedding of Rukmini and Krishna, and Surdas was unable to see it due to his blindness, and he wanted it so much, so he was singing and singing with a deep, deep wish to see his wedding of Rukmini and Krishna. And Krishna, being on his wedding, he appeared before the blind saint, and he asked to Surdas, what is his wish? Why he is so paining in his heart, and what does he want? And he said, I wish to witness your divine form, O Lord. And then Krishna granted Surdas divine eyesight for the brief moment, and he could experience the wedding of Krishna and Rukmini and the entire celestial celebration that was around their wedding. And overwhelmed with joy and gratitude, Surdas continued to sing praises of Lord Krishna. And then it was last for some time, and then Krishna returned to Surdas' physical blindness, but assured him that his spiritual insight and inner vision would remain intact. This story illustrates that Lord Krishna boundless love and grace for his saints and his devotees. And it also highlights that how Krishna not only responds to deep devotion of his devotees, but also give them the divine experience, as was one of my dreams that I said, that he give us the experience even if we are not physically close to him. He give even more in this separation, and he is testing us how we will have this unwavering faith in him. And he will connect with us in profound spiritual level that we might not understand with our mind. And I would like to end this satsang with a beautiful quote of Paramahamsa Ramakrishna. Then he said, "The breeze of grace is always blowing. Set your sail to catch that breeze." So I would say that the breeze of Guruji's grace is always blowing, and it's a time to set up our sail and to catch the breeze of his grace. Thank you, Jai Gurudev.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Yato yato yamitato narasimho.
Yato yato yamitato narasimho.
Yato yato yamitato narasimho.
Yato yato yamitato narasimho.
Bahi narasimho hridaye narasimho.
Bahi narasimho hridaye narasimho.
Bahi narasimho hridaye narasimho.
Bahi narasimho hridaye narasimho.
Narasimhamadim sharanam prapadye.
Narasimhamadim sharanam prapadye.
Narasimhamadim sharanam prapadye.
Narasimhamadim sharanam prapadye.
Tavakara kamalavare nakama bhuta shringam dalita hiranyakashipu tanubringam keshavadrita narahari rupa jai jagadisha hare jai jagadisha hare jai jagadisha hare.
Navakara kamalavare nakama bhuta shringam dalita hiranyakashipu tanubringam keshavadita narahari rupa jai jagadisha hare jayo jagadisha hare jayo jagadisha hare.
Keshavadrita narahari rupa jai jagadisha hare jai jagadisha hare jai jagadisha hare.
Keshavadrita narahari rupa jai jagadisha hare jayo jagadisha hare jayo jagadisha hare.
Narsingadev, Jaya Narsingadev, Jaya Narsingadev, Jaya Narsingadev,
Jaya Narsingadev, 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 Jaya Narsingadev.
Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Bhakta Swarupa Jaya Prahlad Maharaj,
Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Bhakta Swarupa Jaya Prahlad Maharaj.
Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev,
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Sri Vishwananda Gurudev, 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 Sri Vishwananda Gurudev,
Sri Vishwananda Gurudev, 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 Sri Vishwananda Gurudev.
Ramanuja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala Me, Yadiraja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala Me,
Ramanuja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala Me. Yakiraja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala Me.
Yatindraya Karunakaraya, Mangala Mangala Me,
Yatindraya Karunakaraya, Mangala Mangala Me.
Prapatidalme Karadaya, Mangala Mangala Me,
Prapatidalme Karataya, Mangala Mangala Me.
Ramanuja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala Me, Yadiraja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala Me,
Ramanuja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala Me. Yatiraja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala Me.
Saligrama Pratishtitaya, Mangala Mangala Me,
Saligama Pradishtitaya, Mangala Mangala Me.
Tridandadarini Godagachaya, Mangala Mangala Me,
Vedanta Dharine Godagajaya, Mangala Mangala Me.
Ramanuja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala Me, Yatiraja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala Me,
Ramanuja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala Me. Yatiraja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala Me.
Range Sakenkaya Rataya, Mangala Mangala Me,
Range Sakenkaya Rataya, Mangala Mangala Me.
Mananataya Daridaraya, Mangala Mangala Me,
Mananataya Daridaraya, Mangala Mangala Me.
Ramanuja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala Me, Yatiraja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala Me,
Ramanuja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala Me. Yatiraja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala Me.
Om Jai Jagadisha Hare, Swami
Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Bhakta Janon ke Sankata, Dasa Janon ke Sankata, Jana me dura kare. Om Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jo jave pala pave, dukkha vinase manaka, Swami dukkha vinase manaka. Sukha sampatti garave, Sukha sampatti garave, Kashtami te danaka. Om Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Mata pita tumamere, Sharanaga humenti sati, Swami Sharanaga humenti sati. Tuma bina aura na duja, Tuma bina aura na duja. karumenti saki. Om Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Tuma Purana Paramatma, Tuma Antarayami, Swami Tuma Antarayami, Para Brahma Parameshwara, Para Brahma Parameshwara, Tuma Sabake Swami. Om Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Tuma Karunate Sadara, Tuma Palana Karata, Swami Tuma Palana Karata. Nen Sevaka Tuma Swami, Nen Sevaka Tuma Swami, Kripa Karo Bharata. Om Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Tuma ho eka gochara sabake pranapati, Swami sabake pranapati. Kisa vidhi vinam dayamaya, kisa vidhi vinam kripamaya, Tuma kome kumati. Om Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Dina bandhu dukha harta, Tumara shaka mere, Swami Tumara shaka mere. Karuna hata padhao, Karuna hata padhao, Sharana padhate re. Om Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Vishaya vikara mitao, Paparo deva, Swami Paparo deva. Shraddha Bhakti Badhao, Shraddha Prema Badhao, Nandana Ki Seva. Om Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Dana Mana Dana Sabha Entera, Swami Sabha Kucha Entera, Swami Sabha Kucha Entera. Tera Tuja Ko Arpana, Tera Tuja Ko Arpana. Lage mera. Om Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Om Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Swami Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Bhakta Janon ke Sangata, Dasa Janon ke Sangata, Jana Medura Kare. Om Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Chakra koji, Hidari Lala Chakra koji, Hidari Lala Chakra koji, Hidari Lala Chakra koji, Mana Chakra koji, Hidari Lala Chakra koji, Hidari Lala Chakra koji, Hidari Lala Chakra koji. Chakra ko, chakra ko, chakra ko ji. Chakra ko, chakra ko, chakra ko ji. Mane chakra ko ji. Hidari Lala chakra ko ji. Shama mane chakra ko ji. Hidari Lala chakra ko ji. Govinda Mana Chakra Koji, Hidari Lala Chakra Koji, Hidari Lala Chakra Koji, Hidari Lala Chakra Koji. Tvameva Mata Chapita Tvameva, Tvameva Bandhusha Sakha Tvameva. Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva, Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva, Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Vrinda. Asatoma Sargamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Shanti, 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 Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu, Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu, Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti, 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 Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
Prem se bolo Lakshmi Narayana Bhagavan ki. Prem se bolo Sri Bhutabhrteshwarnath Bhagavan ki. Prem se bolo Shri Radha Krishna Kanhaiya Lal ki. Prem se bolo Bhavatara Kriya Baba ji ki. Prem se bolo Shri Bhutabhrteshwarnath ki. Prem se bolo Sadgurudeva Sri Swami Vishwananda Mahaprabhu ki.
Krishnaya Govindaya Gopi Janavalabhaya Paraya Paramapurushaya Parakarma Mantra Yantra Tantra Oshadasha Shastrani Samraya Samraya Nichor Mochaya Mochaya Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasudarshanaya Diti Jvalapritaya Sarvanik Shumanam Pat Parashmaye Parabrahmane Paramyotishe Swaha. Om Shanti 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 Shri Rubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Shyam Venkatamana Govinda, Gopika Jivdasmanam Govinda, Bhaktavatsala Govinda, Pundalika Varade.